This is my second year of attempting to use a pool heater, which consists of an $18 pump that I got on Amazon, which is for fountains, and it's a good size for a garden hose. It only consumes 23 less than 24 watts. So it's not sucking much power in order to provide that simple flow rate. Not gushing, but the fact is that the water is coming back above 90 degrees right now, and maybe up to 95. When we first turned it on, it pumped out like 100, and I think my son saw that this only goes up to 120, and I said don't break the thermometer, so we pulled it out when it was at like 118. Usually the bricks around the pool are 100 degrees, and that's how I came up with this idea. It was like, boy, these bricks are toasty, so let's use the heat from them to heat the pool. And this feels cold right now to me, but the fact is that it's 80 degrees, I think. Now, we had 81 yesterday or whatever, but it was 53 degrees last night. It looks like maybe it's a little bit warmer than 80 degrees. Let's take a look. So it's June 1st, and I'm in Delaware, near Philadelphia here. That's actually looking like it's more like 79 to me. But that's the water temperature. Now, I have this solar cover that we put over it every night, and I try to get it on there before the air temperature drops below that of the water temperature. But the high was 79 degrees yesterday, and we had 81 degree water, so that wasn't really an option. It was I think like 10:30 at night, but right now my return water bowl, let's see, 92, 93 or so degrees. This is doing a little bit extra heating here after the water goes through my garden hose. And you can see that over here it's just green because I ran out of dark black hose. And I don't like that this cheap green hose is kinked up, but my neighbors seem to throw out garden hose all the time just because it's got one little tiny leak. I haven't bought garden hose in decades, and I've got tons of it. Like we've got that stuff there to run the actual hose, and you got all that junk over there. Yeah, I have a lot of junk, too much. But so over here we painted the driveway last year, and I think this is about 150 feet or something like that of hose. And I noticed that some of these things online, like they've got a 4x4 disc and a 4 foot by 4 foot, and they've got tons of hose wrapped up in those discs. Well, in that case, you can't really absorb the surrounding heat. This is a little bit more like a heat sink, where you have spaces ideally between these things, so they're getting heat on the full circumference, as opposed to just on the top layer. Like if you have them wrapped tightly up, they're only going to get heat on the top layer. In this case, they're absorbing heat from the blacktop below, and they're also getting their own heat. So see, if I had a green hose out here, it would still be absorbing heat from the blacktop, and it would certainly increase the overall heat absorption or temperature at which the stuff would come back. But one of the issues that I have is probably the fact that I don't have that great a flow rate. It's the water, once it gets warm, it's going to have less heat transfer. The coldest water is going to absorb the most heat surrounding it. So I probably would need a bigger pump if I'm going to put much more hose on here. Also, I figure the efficiency of the green would be less than that of the black, so I'm not even trying to use all that. Also, when we pull a car in here, I just slide it all to the side rather than running the hose over. I think if you don't care about your hose, you probably just run it over with your car. But that's what I've chosen to do, and I'm very proud that even though we've had very few days over 80 degrees, I have 80-degree pool water on June 1st. We got it to 78 degrees after leaving the cover over it while we were away Memorial Day weekend, and I just left the pump running. Now granted, I was worried in this scenario that, oh no, what if a squirrel or a cat like moves my hose and then I end up draining my whole pool? You know, I don't have any safeties on any of that, so that's not good. But the amount of electricity that I wasted, even though it was running 24/7, was pretty negligible. You could probably come up with something where, you know, you have a thermostat on it that says, you know, if it's not really providing any benefit, then don't run it, or you could have a timer on it, all sorts of simple things. But the fact is, I spent $18 plus maybe a couple of hose repair kits, you know, another 10, 20, but I haven't spent much of anything on this. Yes, granted, I've spent a lot of time, and the fact is that I've spent a lot of time moving the hoses around in the driveway. But my wife is cool with the bowl that we had